Who Am I? Written by Nicole Craft. The number one thing that we as humanity take for granted is the most precious, priceless gift we will ever receive. The divine creation that's often neglected, commonly failed by us to truly appreciate, is our very existence, the gift of life. For many of us, life yields a void, as one have never fully quite grasped the purpose of their presence here on earth. When we seek to define ourselves, we naturally include external things to aid in the expression of whom we are. We seldom utilize our inner being as a focal point in our visualization. Who are we? As we ponder upon our individual definition of ourselves, we must remember that when defining ourselves, there should not be a presence of anything external. The word crossroad, from a religious standpoint, resonates with many individuals as the invisible line between life and death. The point where you are either doomed to eternal fire or heading towards the pearly gates. Often, when people experience a near-death situation, their minds open to a deeper existence here on earth. They are then forced to visualize their life as if it were a movie. Many ask internal questions to their self that normally would have been the furthest thing from their mind. These situations are an example that we subconsciously fail to appreciate our life. We immediately pursue a deeper understanding when faced with the realization of eternal darkness. Life as you know it would end unexpectedly. The life you once had was controlled by misery, worry, fear, and doubt, to name a few. True peace of mind, internal tranquility, was something many of us never met. We live a life without happiness, laced with many regrets. Somewhere along these lines will be the testimony of individuals whom reach this level in their life. The path of choice traveled to fully awaken to one's full potential is based solely upon the individual. Some may choose to awaken. Others may have been forced into it from life circumstances or a series of events that led them to the crossroad, the road that gives life or welcomes death. Living and existing are not one and the same. In fact, they are totally opposite when in comparison with the human psyche. To simply exist in the world leaves us completely open and prone to arrive at the road of death, completely blinded of our chosen route. The truth is that awakening is a necessity, a requirement to live a life in full alignment with one's life purpose. To begin the metamorphosis to living from existing, we must be willing to put to death our old self to begin the birthing process of our higher self. There shouldn't be a threat to lose our existence for the presence of appreciation to surface. The fact that we are unsure is completely a normality in humanity. I believe that everyone deserves peace of mind in their life, despite the stage they are currently present in. We are all uniquely created, so our awakening process will not be identical, although we may share similarities. To define who we are, we must first seek to understand our inner being, the spirit that we are shaped around. We do not have to remain deadlocked in a position of existence as we choose to exist rather than to live. The choice must be made to live outside of the reality of life, as nothing is ever what it appears to be. How do we define ourselves if all of our money was taken away? All material possessions, our family, all leisure activities, everything outside of us. The answer requires exploration of the soul to familiarize your lower consciousness with your higher consciousness. In doing so, they will both align together, releasing all present blockages. For many of us, life is jam-packed with obligations, responsibilities, family, constantly moving from one activity to another. There's seldom time available for us alone. Most things directly connected to our individual self-discovery or self-care tends to get placed on a to-do list that we justifiably ignore. It grants clarity to external validation as a form of self-care. I believe we can truly have it all. It is possible to truly have abundance in all facets of life. But we must first believe it to pursue the achievement of it. It is absolutely possible to continue to live a life avoiding the eternal reunion. It is evident from others that avoidance will only deliver future regrets, fueling a life of dysfunction, whether on the surface or a mid or a subconscious mind. The part of our mind that controls every facet of our life, from emotional reactions, our relationships, behaviors, employment, everything presently in our life is a direct result of our subconscious mind. The process of discovering your identity will require a bit of craftiness, as the mind will present you with things that are outside of you despite your attempts to remove them. Because of our neediness for things external to validate us, the lack of have resulted in cases of suicide, extreme depression, divorce, for example. That is because there was a major disconnection from spirit, ultimately granting dominance to feelings of unworthiness and inadequacies. To merely exist in a vessel without fully knowing the depth of your soul encourages conditions that include all things outside of us. Although we claim outwardly to love ourselves, if that was indeed true, the thought of suicide would not surface. Through vows of love, honor, and respect, we disregard them in the face of financial difficulty, exposing the conditions set upon the love we have for our significant others. Some say that you are identical to your group, those whom you flock with. The reality is that we naturally mirror those whom we associate with. Although the mirror effect is present, originality isn't. We organically function in sync with our subconscious mind. That operation doesn't necessarily define whom we are. It does in turn reveal your beliefs and inner worthiness. Our current beliefs include those we opt to conceal, absolutely have an origin. It is up to us to uncover their root, to discover our route to self-mastery. To master anything, you must completely understand it. The gift of life doesn't come fully equipped with understanding and wisdom. It's our responsibility to seek knowledge first and foremost, beginning with self. As the relationship develops with yourself, you will discover that you are much more than anything material. You will gain clarity of the existence of humanity, realizing that everything is energetic, source energy. The activation of your third eye, also known as the pineal gland, will take place as part of the alignment process. The benefits one can reap from activating and aligning with their higher self cannot be measured on a scale. Everyone has a different set of gifts bestowed upon them prior to their incarnation here on earth. Opening the portal will simply enhance, improve, and refine the skills that was already present within their being. Each soul was incarnated with a set of gifts to aid them during their pursuit of discovering their purpose, in addition to enhanced gifts that will become accessible upon reaching and achieving certain milestones required for the development of their soul. As with anything, there is a process one must completely surrender to successfully develop their internal intuition. The process has a different effect on each of us, but regardless whom the individual is, the awakening symptoms will present themselves. Just as a butterfly has a period of hibernation prior to metamorphosis, we too as humans must be in a state of comatose, all while going through the motions associated with life. The truth is that many individuals are oblivious to the reality that they are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually unbalanced. It is imperative for us to define ourselves based solely upon an unbiased internal observation and investigation of our soul. We owe it to ourselves to develop a relationship with our spirit. The understanding, support, unconditional love, and devotion we state we want in a partner must first be established within you. That interconnection of self-discovery will lead to self-mastery, the mastery of self required to adequately define oneself.